His feet touching the water. And frogs and all kinds of other things. It's about 70 degrees outside or more, 72, 73. It's November the 5th, 2018. And like I said, it's 70 something. It's very weird right now. All the leaves are falling, or 1/3 of the way off right now. The very beginning of fall. It just started in the last few days. This is one of those warmish days. It's very wet, but on this fall day, at some point in time in the next few hours, it's going to rain. The pressure is high. You can just feel it. Everywhere is pressure, pressure, pressure. The weather is pressure. And everything can be pressure. Maya, that's what it's been called. That word is the root word of many different things, which is really the word is M-A-T-R. It's the origin of Maya, and which is it's a unit of measurement, to measure, to cut, to measure. But there's also many different meanings of Maya. Maya has many other meanings as well. You can think of it being equivalent to beginnings, or a cut happens, I guess, in Mary. And Mary being Jesus' mother. Mary, mother, mama. You can also think of it as like a Maya. Is it, you're cutting something off from everything else. So then you can think of it like as an illusion. And of course, Alan Watts, whom I've been listening to, whom you might can tell from the concepts. Maybe, if you've listened to him, of course, these concepts come from other places, but it draws upon his expertise to know to look at those things for me. So, the presentation I've been listening to, the philosophical presentation I've been listening to of recent, is reality, art, and illusion. Reality, art, and illusion. And he talks about those concepts all being associated with Maya. Of course, Maya, once again, it's a measure, it's the meter, it's the metric, and then it's also, those basic words, where this word came from, its synonyms, what it means, what its core foundations are rooted in. This root word is Ma, which is the mother, Mary. It's the mother, anybody. It's the mother, it's the original mother. Very cut. And then, all of this is an illusion. One of the theories that Alan Watts, one of the Wattsian thoughts, put forth. And of course, if you know anything about Watts, you know that what he was doing is that he was showing you the outside of the box that you're sitting in. We all sit in these boxes. We're human beings. We're wiggly. Everything in nature is wiggly. But we have this thing in us, this Euclidean nightmare as such that pushes us to want things in a straight line. We want it to be in a box. We want it to have a label on the box. We want it to be a certain way. But ourselves and everything around us is wiggly. We're wiggly. We try to pretend like we're straight and that we're different. That we're not like nature. We're not wiggly. We like laws. We like rules. We like to have things in a straight row. We want it to always be like this forever in our straight row because that's against nature. That makes us different. It tells us that we're not a part of nature, which is Maya, the big illusion. is what you could think of it as. Maya. You can see outside. Once you, that's your whole image of you sitting in that box is the Maya. You think you're sitting in a box. But Alan Wattsian thought, wanted you to step outside of your box in this great big illusion and say, okay, let's look at things. Okay? Here's your box, man. Well, it's kind of like what we discovered with dinosaurs, birds. Oh, wow. That thing looks different than I thought it did. I thought it was a square. That was just foam walls on the inside. That thing was shaped fantabulously. What's the word? Fantastically. Fantabulously. That was a modernist slanguage word. Sling. But, so yeah, that's where my mind has been on Maya. All those, the meaning of life from this perspective, from this view of the box, from this particular lens through which the world looks at itself, through this particular paradigm, it's mostly Hindu, is that the world is an illusion created by Maya. Maya. This belief that you're something different. That you've been cut off, you've been measured. You are different than nature. You got the little straight line you walk in. Maya. Pretty deep stuff, huh? I've been in that kind of mode lately, specifically with anything philosophical or, religious or spiritual. Yeah, whatever kind of word you use to describe such things. And I think, that it kind of revolved around the synagogue shootings up in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I always heard that name when I was a kid. I was like, wow, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Such a cool name. But a very sad situation that recently happened there. Of course, it's not the only thing that's happened like this recently. There's been several churches shot up over the past couple of years. I'm in Arkansas, so I've seen it all around. Church shootings. I know there was a couple in Texas, and at least one in Texas recently in the past year or so. He was, I think he recently had a trial. I can't think of his name. You can look that up if you want to. But, so there's all these shooting up these religious institutions, these spiritual institutions. And I've also, mixed in with that, I've been seeing some posts in my memory stream, in my Facebook memory stream, about Poverty Point. And Poverty Point is the World Heritage Site in Epes, Louisiana. It's ancient Americans created these mounds. And I say ancient, I mean 3,500 years ago. Some of their predecessors, earlier ancient Americans, created mounds in just south of Monroe, Louisiana, which is a big name. Everybody should know that one. That was about just south of Monroe, called the Washita Mounds, and those are 5,000 years old. 3,500 BC. So those are pretty old, and the ones that are 1,500 BC or so is over there in Epes, Louisiana, and that's the one that I've been most impressed with, and one that I know the most about, and can talk about a little bit in reference to these religious institutions or these spiritual institutions, these structures greater than ourselves that have been getting shot up in the past few years, seemingly more and more. And when I think of these with these Indian mounds, I call them Indian mounds, ancient American mounds, for short, Indian mounds. Native American mounds, what would be the best? I don't know. I call it ancient Americans most of the time, but I always slip back to Indians because everybody knows what you're talking about, and it's such a habit. I also see it called a Mara Indian. Anyway, any kind of feedback I can get, I don't know what's kosher. It's like, I've heard people say, quote unquote, Indians say, hey, I'm an Indian man. That's what I've always been. That's how I identify myself. Yeah, I don't know. You know, and of course, more than that, they probably identify with a particular tribe. So, you know, I'm Cherokee, or I'm Choctaw, or I'm Chickasaw, or I'm Lakota, a part of the 5 tribes. Anyway, so there's those things, and of course that ties back in, back up way a long time ago. Poverty Point, the World Heritage Site, you can look it up, just Google Poverty Point, and you'll find it. If you sift through things like, you know, where people are eligible for certain benefits. But anyway, if you look for Poverty Point World Heritage Site, you'll find it, and you'll see these semicircles on this big plot of land, about 900 acres, 1,000 acres, maybe more than that, 1,100 acres. It's a lot of acres. It's big. The structures are huge. They're not even comprehensible unless you go see them. And think about the fact that 3,500 years ago or more, these people, 3,500 years ago, these people built this thing. And imagine how much your yard changes in a year or after you've had it landscaped. The way you see things change over 40 years, 30 years. And then imagine 3,500 years. That's crazy. It's hard to comprehend. You know, so imagine 3,500 winters, summers, and springs, and falls. It'd be hard to do. It's hard to do. It's hard to imagine that. It's hard to imagine that kind of time. But back during that time, a long time ago, if you back up, you know, flip, real fast back. And just imagine, further back, the wheel, just like a wheel on a spin wheel, slowing down. Okay, we're here. 3,500 years before present. And look over there. We gotta walk around on top of this hill and we'll look. Look over there. Thousands and thousands of people in a bucket brigade. And they're getting those buckets of dirt. They're digging it from a special little area. And they're carrying it and they're putting it in these huge semicircles. Huge, 300 acres worth of semicircles. It looked like a little satellite. A wireless internet symbol. Little lines going out. It looks like that. And at the top of it, there's a great big bird effigy or a T-shaped mound. This thing, 3,500 years ago, is thought to be, around 100 feet tall. Now it's 70, 80 feet tall. The mound itself, Mound A, it's about 700 feet long, about 600 feet wide. It's huge, 100 feet tall, and you could probably add some of that on the sides. So it's probably 800 feet. You know, it's probably not that much. Somewhere, we don't know how long. It was huge. It's huge. 100 feet up, man. If you walk up there to those mounds, I was watching the videos, and it's huge. Huge. 70 feet it's a 7-story building. So it's a huge mound out there. And it was created by people, human beings, with deer hide buckets, each weighing around 50 pounds, because I think that they found it during their archaeological investigations of the area. These baskets, deer hide baskets, and they were using that to in a bucket brigade style. It's handing from one person to another, and they carried a few feet or however it goes, and they're dumping it constantly. In fact, this whole system was built, the main parts of it, you know, the satellite parts in Mound A and maybe another mound or so, were built within a 3-month period in a year. All these people, thousands of people, 12,000 people or so, they think, maybe more than that, have no idea, can't even comprehend it. That many people came there from miles and miles and miles around there. Now, those Poverty Point culture, I was walking through a creek bank on some of my grandfather's property and found I saw a rock about 4 feet up of like an 8 or 9 foot creek just during the summer. It's dry, and there was a rock sitting there, okay? And you don't find rocks in this part of the country because there's no rocks here. It's all dirt. There's no hills. This is the delta area. It's between rivers, so there's not visible rock unless you drag it in from the Ozarks or something. But there was a rock there, and we carried it to Dr. Jeter up at the University of Monticello. He said, yeah, it's about 4,000 years old. I asked a bunch of stupid questions, but if I would have known now, I educated myself afterwards, but there's always some kind of impetus for something. But I found out that stone was from that particular Poverty Point culture. That was in Fountain Hill, Arkansas, and Epps, Louisiana. In fact, it went all out further than that. That's pretty far away. It's probably about 60 miles or so. But it was still a part of the culture. And that sandstone, by the way, whenever that bowl, the grinding bowl, what we found, whenever it was used with another stone to help grind it, to help grind the food, various types of grains and such, corns, that into a powder to make like cornbread or bread or some kind of a bread. But whenever someone used that grinding bowl for that, it got the sandstone inside of it. And he said, I can tell you something about the people too. They had ground down teeth because they had all that sandstone mixed in with their bread, and it ground their teeth down. Now, that makes you think about some images, doesn't it? It makes that person real. And the reality of it is that it's very, very, very possible that particular artifact, that particular grinding bowl found there in Fountain Hill, Arkansas, may have been used by somebody that was involved with building those mounds. That makes it real personal. They were not slaves that built these mounds. These were people that come from miles and miles around of their own to build this temple. And that's exactly what it is. They put forth their hard work and effort and gave up their existence to come there and help create this particular monument. It's the same way a church is. There's a lot of people that get together, specifically in long-term churches. Something that's been there for 30 years or so. I mean, that's an established facility. In a lot of cases, a thriving membership, growing, thriving membership of people, like-minded people, typically, that go through the struggles of life together. Whether it be a synagogue, ancient Native American, Aboriginal American, an ancient American, or I'll go through a list of names here, or a Christian, or whatever it is. All these people banded together to create this thing. And it's supposed to be very sacred. It is sacred. The very fact that so many people are involved in it, more than just one person, many different people putting prayers and hard work and helping out other people and them helping other people and creating these structures, these higher than human structures for God. In fact, you can say that God built those, all these structures. Any religion you want, people come together for a larger calling, and they build something. And this whole thing, of these spiritual facilities, these religious structures, being, people coming in with guns, shooting people, it's becoming disturbing to me. As a person that's always looks at the, life, everything is, it's kind of hard to put those things in words. I mean, if you've ever looked up the word pantheism, stuff like that, just to understand things from even that kind of perspective, where everything around you is alive. I mean, dead does not make alive. And the earth made us. We didn't come out of it. We didn't come into this world. We came out of it, as Alan Watts would say. We came out of this world. We're part of it. We're part of nature. Well, that's the Maya anyway. I don't know. It's just, I guess it's, I don't know. I guess we should probably band together in some kind of a mental, spiritual way and run that stuff away. Push those people out. 97-year-old women. Children. Loving and caring parents. And just people that want to help people or needed help or that just love God. Getting shot at a place that's supposed to be comfortable leisure, spirituality, sanctity. I don't know. It's disturbing to me. It's a disturbing trend. Sweet Maya. Oh well. Have fun. Be safe. I'm out.